Good evening and welcome to one of the high points of the year for RACC. My name is Eloise Damrosch. I'm Executive Director of the Regional Arts and Culture Council, and it's a huge pleasure to welcome you tonight. I want to first my job is to sort of thank a bunch of people and recognize a bunch of people, and then you'll get to hear from the stars of the show. I first of all want to thank Robin Williams and Portland 5's Center. I never can say that. Portland's 5, right? Is that it? Yes. Close enough. For hosting this event for us. They've donated a tremendous amount of in-kind and staff help, and we really appreciate that. Let's give them a round of applause. And also, the fellow who's running around madly taking pictures is Rob Cummings, our volunteer photographer. Thank you, Ron, for that. There he is. And without naming everybody, I don't want to make this sound like the Academy Awards, but I want to thank all the current RACC board members who've turned out in force, which is great. Thank you for all you do for RACC, and also for our Resource Council, many of whom are here tonight, who are mostly past RACC board members. So even once you cycle off RACC, you're never out of our clutches. Thank you. And one of the best things about this event in my mind, not just, of course, the wonderful spotlight that we can shine on our fellows, but we have a wonderful turnout tonight of our, I won't even call them past fellows, because once they're part of our family, they're still here with us. So I'm going to read their names, and then let's give them a big round of applause at the end. And I haven't seen quite everybody, but I'll read their names anyway. And the full names are in your program, so you can read when they got their fellowship and for what discipline. Jim Blashfield, Eric Stodik, Hank Pander, Robin Lane, Larry Johnson, Michelle Glazer, Susan Addy on behalf of OBO, Prudence Roberts on behalf of Terry Todemeyer, Christine Burdette, and Mary Oslin. So let's give them a huge round of applause. And of course, none of this would happen without some of our friends in high places. We're thrilled to have the great arts commissioner that we're lucky to have. Nick Fish is here. Nick, where are you? And Jenny and Aja on his staff. Thank you so much for coming and for all you do to make this kind of event happen. Thank you, all three of you. Thank you. We also have some friends from Washington County. I can't name everybody here, but thank you for coming to support Anita, who is the first Washington County RACC Fellowship recipient. So it's a very special day. And we're actually going out to Washington County first thing in the morning, where we will confer the certificate officially in front of the Board of Commissioners. So that will be great. Watch Facebook for that. And then we also have some friends, Gary Chenault, who's representing Multnomah County Commissioner Loretta Smith, who couldn't be with us, but we're glad you're here, Gary. And I'm not sure if Matthew Lashra, representing Commissioner Shiprack, is here. I know he was going to try to make it, but Commissioner Shiprack was very sorry she couldn't come, as was Deborah Kafoury, Chair Kafoury, who sent her congratulations. And of course, all of our friends in Clackamas County, the other great folks in City Hall, the mayor sent his regards and his regrets that he couldn't be here. With that, I think I'm going to turn it over to Jan Robertson, the current chair of the RACC board. There you go.
Anna strategically,
Oops, you have to put it really close.
Anna strategically divides up the list so that we both get to talk more than we need to. Events like this are truly among the best parts of being on the RACC board, and as the new board chair, I see two of my immediate predecessors here to cheer us all on, so thank you. It's an opportunity for those at RACC to come together with our friends in the arts community and celebrate artists' vision, excellence, and achievement in our community. It's wonderful to have so many of the prior winners here because each year we think that we couldn't do any better and we just keep adding to the stars. How lucky we are tonight to be able to honor two distinguished artists, Linda Austin and Anita Menon. And distinguished they are. Comments from this year's panelists speak for themselves. And I quote, "Linda Austin is a true original. She's one of the most incomparable artists in the country, one of those voices as an artist that has impact throughout the art form. The dance community would not be the same without her influence." And speaking of Anita Menon's work is relevant and first class. It is accessible and welcoming to diverse audiences. Her work is a conduit for something bigger that is happening regarding community and change. We'll hear more about both Anita and Linda's achievements in just a moment, but in the meantime, it's my pleasure to shine the light on some of the people who made this evening's fellowship and event possible. First, to the City of Portland, who continues to be our largest funder. Thanks, Commissioner Fish, for being here, and we thank you and your staff for the ongoing support and leadership for the arts in Portland. Without that support from you and artists like Linda and Anita, Portland wouldn't be the place that we are as a thriving, vibrant arts community. This year's panelists deserve a big thank you. Jim McGinn, Kinji Bunch, Maisie Spear, Kimberly Howard, Walter Jaffe, Joaquin Lopez, and Kevin Jones. Thank you for the countless hours you spent reviewing applications and work samples. I don't know how you do such a daunting task with such elegance to select only one or two artists from such a wonderful pool. And to RACC's fearless grant staff. With little manpower, they administer the RACC's largest program. So to Director of Operations Cindy Knapp, Grants Officers Helen Del Toso and Ingrid Carlson, and Grants Assistant Alfredo Lettenmeyer, thank you. Your work allows our artists to thrive, grow, experiment, and succeed. And in leadership of our Grants Review Committee, Committee Chair Jesse Beeson, and board members like Angela Holt, we thank them because the grant program continues to be a special focus of the entire board. They leave a vibrant mark on Portland's artistic landscape, and thank you for the very thoughtful recommendations you present. And last but not least, thanks to the artists who put their time, effort, and energy into this rigorous application process. While we're honoring two particular artists at tonight's reception, it's all of your brilliant work and talent that makes our work meaningful and relevant. I'm pleased to see so many familiar faces in the room this evening, and very happy to now hand the podium over to Walter Jaffe, co-founder of Whitebird, who sat on this year's grants panel and will tell us more about these distinguished performing artists. Walter?
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Dan. Thank you, Eloise, Helen, Jan, everyone at RACC for inviting me to be on the Artist Fellowship panel and asking me to introduce the two recipients. It really was a great honor for me to serve on this, and it was the first time I served on it. The RACC Artist Fellowship awards artists from the Portland region for crafting, and I'm quoting your website, for crafting an idea, the honing of a vision, and the development of a consequential body of work. Requires discipline, rigor, curiosity, singularity, and generosity of spirit. This year, RACC is honoring two shining lights in the Portland performing arts field, and they happen to be both from the field of dance. So why they picked me, I don't know. This was a fascinating and challenging experience for me to serve on the panel. Fascinating because there are artists I was not familiar with, particularly in the non-dance field, who are clearly creating vital work, and challenging because so many of the artist candidates were wholly deserving of a RACC fellowship. The two we ultimately chose were Anita Menon and Linda Austin. Anita is a performer, teacher, choreographer, as well as artistic director of the Anjali School of Dance. She straddles the two worlds of classical Indian dance and contemporary approaches to the Indian dance tradition. What I find remarkable about her is her strong ties to the Indian dance community, combined with her passionate commitment to expanding and ultimately creating new forms of dance movement. Exploration and experimentation are all important, terms for the breadth of her work. She is clearly a master of Indian dance forms, but she loves combining those forms with ballet, jazz, hip-hop, and go on. And the results are truly exhilarating. Linda Austin is an artist, my partner Paul King. By the way, he's on his way to Europe, so he couldn't be here tonight. He would be here. But he's an artist Paul and I have been very familiar with and know well. There's no way we've seen all your work in the last 18 years that we've been in Portland, because Linda's been astoundingly prolific. But we have experienced many of her works. As with Anita, she is someone who has developed strong ties to the Portland dance community, largely through her organization, Performance Works Northwest. She also continually is exploring and looking to create highly original movement. Every time we have emerged from Linda's performances or Linda's space in Southeast Portland, we are intrigued, moved, sometimes confused, and always tremendously appreciative of how she makes the ordinary appear extraordinary. She describes her choreography as, quote, the awkward poetics of my dance world, and that perfectly encapsulates the provocative originality of Linda's artistic voice. Because of their singular visions, their strong ties to their individual communities, their restlessness, and their hunger for nonstop exploration and creativity, I strongly believe that Anita and Linda are tremendously deserving of the RACC Artist Fellowship. Huge congratulations to both of you.
असतोमा सद्गमय तमसोमा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा मृदङ्गमय ॐ शान्ति शान्ति असतोमा सद्गमय तमसोमा ज्योतिर्गमय Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti.
All right, now it's official. Jan and I would love to give you the certificate of this year's Individual Artist Fellowship in Dance. Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm very honored to be here with Linda and all of you. I hope you enjoyed the video montage that gave you a small glimpse into the world of Indian dance, drama, and storytelling. Bharatanatyam is a 2,000-year-old classical dance form that originated in the temples of South India as a medium for storytelling. I often have to reiterate that it is not Bollywood. In fact, Bharatanatyam is to Bollywood what ballet is to Beyonce. I started learning Bharatanatyam at the age of 4 and had my dance graduation performance at the age of 11. As part of the Academy's dance company, I continued to tour and perform all over India, as well as in France, England, Malaysia, and Singapore for several years. I also had the honor to represent India by performing for the UNESCO. I moved to Portland in 1995 and founded the Anjali School of Dance. I started teaching with one student in my garage and have over the years grown into one of the premier Indian dance schools in the area. As a dance teacher in America, I'm expected to not only teach dance, but also to pass on traditions, history, and other aspects of the Indian culture. I grew up at a time in India when no one asked questions about anything. We just did as we were told. No questions asked, especially when it came to an art form steeped in tradition. But today, as an artist, choreographer, teacher, and mother of 2 teenagers, I realized that this is a different age and time. I need to continuously evolve and adapt to the times while still holding on to this 2,000-year-old tradition. My challenge has been to keep young dancers today engaged in a culture that they are not fully immersed in. Over the years, I have noticed that whenever I choreograph stories that they have grown up with here in America, such as Red Riding Hood, Wizard of Oz, Pegasus, Cinderella, and A Midsummer Night's Dream, they identify with them and dance them with heart. These dances bring together both their worlds and personify who they are, both Indian and American. Audiences not familiar with Indian classical dance have also tremendously enjoyed these choreographies because they're stories that they can relate to. With my students who are all young girls, I also find it crucial to pick traditional stories about strong women role models, warrior queens, and women who have persevered against all odds. Dance classes are focused not only on the mastery of movement, but also sprinkled in are historical stories, cultural references, and life lessons. I'm passionate about collaborating with other dance schools, ballet, and theater companies. I'm currently co-directing Northwest Children's Theater's production of Jungle Book to bring, for the very first time, various styles of Indian dance to mainstream children theater audiences here in Portland. And this will be performed by a majority cast that have previously had no training in Indian dance at all. Besides creating unique pieces of artistic work, I strongly believe that collaborations build tolerance, foster genuine respect for others, and in some cases, lifelong friendships. The journey today has been a long and yet enjoyable one. Like someone said to me the other day, it's taken you 20 years to be an overnight success. Clearly, I would not be here if it weren't for the support of the following people. First, my mother, who instilled in me the love for dance. I could not have done this without your love, support, and guidance. Thank you, Mommy, for all the sacrifices you have made for me. My father, who gave me the freedom to follow my passion in the arts, even though the expected norm was to pursue a career in STEM. Thank you, Papa, for your support. My guru, Chitra Vishweshwaran, for giving me the skills, but above all, for teaching me to be a forward-thinking dancer. My husband, who literally is the wind beneath my wings, he has heard the words, sorry, I can't, I have rehearsal, the most. Thank you, Satish, for everything. My two children, Alicia and Avish, who have shaped my artistic journey more than anyone can ever understand. Thank you both for inspiring me in so many ways. Archana, who writes all the music for our new and innovative works. Thank you, Archana, for braving this journey with me. I couldn't have done it without you. The staff of Anjali, Saumini, Meera, and Purna, who share my vision in adapting this art form for the next generation of dancers. Thank you for your unwavering support. I would also like to thank the panelists and RACC. Blazing new trails in an art form that is rooted in so much culture, history, and tradition is no easy task. But this fellowship award gives me the encouragement, strength, and power to keep forging ahead, to continue to collaborate, innovate, and adapt Indian dance for the next generation of dancers. Thank you all for this honor.
Okay, and we're so happy to have yet a second fellow this year. And let's give a big round of applause for Linda Austin.
In my day job, I teach English as a second language. And actually this year, I don't have to. I mean, I've been, thanks to this great fellowship. But what I was going to say is sometimes I have to teach speech. You know, I have to teach them to give speeches. And I always tell them never to bring paper up because it makes too much noise. So I'm probably going to do everything wrong, and I haven't actually, you know, done a speech or remarks, as it says, in a long time. But anyway, first of all, thank yous to RACC and the fellowship panel, as well as all of the people involved in Performance Works. That's the nonprofit that I direct, board members, volunteers, audience members, workshop takers, especially all the dancers and performers who have ever trusted me enough to spend hours in the studio when I don't know what I am doing. And then get up on stage and putting themselves on the line and for very little financial recompense, as is, you know, that's why I have the day job. Also, of course, my family and especially my siblings, I'd say. I have 8. And all of the collaborators who've ever helped me make work. So, when we get this award, we get some money. And an award like this fellowship is really, when you get the news of it, it's very emotional. Getting the award is very meaningful, powerful. And it imparts value in a way that maybe it shouldn't. Like maybe it should be just the value of your work and the recognition, but you get, you get the boost to feel that your work is recognized by a panel of really respected peers, and that's wonderful. But I do freely admit it's the money associated with the honor that is the real deal. And that's not just because of, well, there's the practical things, but it's also because in our society, having a money value attached to something is what gives it value to the outside world. So after more than 30 years in this field, I feel a bit less like an imposter because I will be able, for the first time, to pay myself something a bit closer to reasonable for my artistic work. So thank you for that. And I also feel this award validates not only my work, but the work of my peers who do work similar to mine, work that is a little bit more offbeat or with strange objects or in intimate spaces, a little bit less mainstream. So thank you, panel, for being able to see that and recognize that. I was really happy this year that RACC funded 2 artists, not only because it gave me, more of a chance, but because, well, when I got this award, I was elated. Tears came of joy, and then also maybe Catholic upbringing coming into play, a little guilty. I remembered all the no's that I've gotten through the years, that we've all gotten as artists applying for awards, gigs, and funding. And there's always far more people who deserve it than there are resources available. And that comes, you feel that even when you get the no, you feel like, well, I deserved it too. And then when you get the yes, you feel like they deserved it too, right? So my wish, which is not a unique one, is that there could be more fellowships, more funding for research and creation, more support for individual artists and small artist-run nonprofits like Performance Works. And I know this is a RACC day, but here I want to thank two other funders. I want to thank the Robert Rauschenberg Foundation for their Innovative Seed Grant, and also the iCults Foundation. Both of these have given Performance Works and others some unrestricted operating support, a real godsend for organizations like ours, where the lead artists, the grant writers, the administrators, and the janitors are the same people. Or in my case, the same person, the same one person. Where every hour spent on fundraising, grant writing, grant reporting is an hour less spent on the actual art making or art programming. So I only hope and wish for others to follow in their lead. And yeah, more fellowships, more, etc. And finally, just to say that I'm really, really grateful and plan to make super grateful, and plan to make some really good work with this money in the coming year and years. And the first stage of my new project, which is called Unmade, will happen this spring. It'll be a monthly series at my Small Space Performance Works of mutating solos, a sort of relay telephone structure initiated by myself as the first soloist and then taken up by other performers throughout the spring and early summer. And finally, again, thank you, RACC, so very much, and thank you all for being here to celebrate with Anita and myself. Thanks.
Well, congratulations again to both of you, and thank you for both sharing a little piece of your work, but also your wonderful comments, and you deserve every dime of it. So no guilt, it's okay about the money. And I want one last shout out to the grant staff who worked so hard on this program, Helen and Alfredo and Ingrid and all of you. And of course, to the hardworking panelists who had the giant challenge of making these tough decisions. And I also want to give a big thanks to Anna Rigby, who was really the brains and the logistical mind behind this event. And she did a great job as always. And thanks to all of you. You're here for the same reason, to celebrate these incredibly talented people, but I suspect many, many people in this room have, whether you're a friend or a whatever, it's sort of the old, it takes a village, right? Only it's more than that. So thank you for being here, and thank you for all that you've done to support these amazing women, and also for all you do to support the arts in this community, because you wouldn't be here otherwise. So please stay and have some more food and drink and good conversation, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.